Okay, Jason Guy here from Foundation Repair Marketing. We have a couple of guests with us, and in chatting before we got started with David and Eddie, there was a recurring theme. And that theme was we started to do ads, it was working really well, and then it stopped working well, right? So we're going to talk about maybe like how that can happen, what's different about ads in 2026, and dare I say what's better about running Google Ads now than it used to be. Eddie said he had a similar problem. He was using a lead generation service. It started great and it's not doing well now. On the flip side, Eddie's getting a lot of leads from his website, and he's like, I don't even know why, but it's going well, and so I'm riding that train, right? So we're even going to take a peek and show why some websites are doing well, why some are not. So first things first, quick bit about us. Jason Guy, Foundation Repair Marketing. We also have a podcast hosted by my wife called Cracks and Conversations. I've been in internet marketing for 15 years, maybe actually a little bit longer, 17 actually now that I go back. And I didn't always do foundation repair. I did a number of home service businesses. And then about 1 year ago, I got a foundation repair client, and here's what happened. He was living in an RV park, and they were having trouble getting a Google listing live. So they were not anywhere. It was just a guy who knew how to do foundation repair, could not get leads to save his life. So we built a website for him. We built the Google listing, and then we were doing search engine optimization and running ads. Took me 2 months to get the Google listing live, and which we needed to run ads. The second month we were running ads for him, we made him $300,000 in booked jobs in a brand new business, right? And I had been used to doing ads for pressure washers and just like struggling to make good money, these $800 jobs, and he's getting $12,000 jobs off of this, and I'm like, oh my God, right? What am I doing working with pressure washers? So I made the switch. I founded Foundation Repair Marketing, and that is all that we do now. Is that basement waterproofing, crawl space encapsulation, concrete lifting, that sort of thing. So that's who we are, and we have got a ton of knowledge in SEO, Google Ads, and we're just doing it only for foundation repair now. So first things first, I'm going to show Eddie like why maybe his website is doing well, right? We've got a case study on our website that will kind of show um, what what determines if you're going to get a lead. So this is a map of the area, and it's the way it works, the way trackers work now. When you do a search for foundation repair near me, your Google listing is what determines if you're going to get the phone calls. It's not really the website, right? Because the website is almost equal as far as the ranking, whether you're in Seattle or Washington, D.C., right? So if someone says foundation repair near me, this is an example of a client that brought their website Google listing to us, and they ranked #1 on their front porch. But the way that Google Maps works is the further away you are from that searcher, the less likely you are to show up in the top 3 searches, right? There are only 3 Google listings that show up on page 1. And so he ranked for about a 3-mile radius, and that was it. So note the dates. This is July 15th. This is October 15th. So about 3 months later, he ranked not only in a much larger area, but remember how I said there's only 3 listings that show on page 1? So he was at the top of page 2 for a lot of his service area 3 months later. So he's getting more calls, and we see potential here. And then finally, 9 months later, March 15th, He's ranking for a significant portion of his service area. So, Eddie, I believe what's happening is, and this changes like almost every week, right? Because there's a constant algorithm change. There's also like what Google knows about you. Maybe someone said something about you online and you can be hot for a while. So I'll bet money you have a few green pins here. And if you want in the chat or even just Facebook message me, just give me the name of your business as it appears on Google and your website, and I'll do a couple keyword trackers for you and see where you're at now, and maybe see like, hey, if it's doing well, at least you want to kind of know why, right? And maybe you do well for some keywords, maybe not others, maybe there's opportunities. But I just wanted to touch on a question from one of our webinar visitors before we get started. So now let's get to the matter at hand. We're going to focus mostly on local service ads today, right? Because this is the new way of doing Google Ads. What we're going to cover is basically like, why should you be doing local service ads in 2026? What is it that Google looks at to determine who do I want to send this lead to? What are the mistakes that we're seeing when people have declining leads month over month, right, versus ascending leads, right? We're going to give you a case study of why AI phone answering service is a good idea, and the case study of the foundation repair client that we mentioned earlier, and then we'll open it up for any further questions. The goal is to be completely done in a half an hour. And then after that, we'll just stay as long as you guys have questions. So why do we only work with foundation repair? Now that I have niched down, I've just heard so many people say, I'm so glad there's somebody that specializes in my niche, right? So you can just know so much intimately better how to generate the specific kind of leads that that guys want. You know, crawl space encapsulation, basement waterproofing, pier and beam, concrete lifting. The cool thing about local service ads is it is the first thing that you will see in most local searches, right? Usually you'll see local service ads, then pay-per-click, then the map results, then organic. So I pulled up an example of this. So I just did a search here in a private browser for foundation repair near me. And the company we all love to hate comes up first, Groundworks. That's because there's one not that far away from where I'm actually located, right? So they show up here, and then under pay-per-click, there are another 2 listings. Then we've got 3 Google Maps listings, a sponsored Google Map listing, and then you'll have 10 website listings. So this is what we call the search engine results page. And when we're talking about local service ads, we want to be up here. We want to be one of the top 2 ads as often as we can. And that is Ashley's specialty. Say hi, Ashley.
Hi, guys.
And she also does the pay-per-click for us.
Yes.
And then that report I mentioned earlier, if it said 1 or 2 or 3, that means you're showing up on page 1 of Google for that particular spot on your service area. And so just the question is, you know, do you have 1 square mile or do you have 60 square miles? And all things being equal, if you rank for the same amount of keywords on 60 square miles versus 1, you're going to get 60 times the leads, right? So that's an extreme example, but that is what we call search engine optimization. And it is just the act of getting this Google listing to show up when people do that search, right? So we're not going to go super deep into that today, but that is a part of everything. So what we like about local service ads, it is actually one of the things that we do first if people say, hey, I don't have a huge budget for marketing, right? Because if we get local service ads live on Friday, you will start getting leads on Saturday, right? So you will start getting cash flow from local service leads. It is a pay per lead arrangement, right? And it has disputable leads. Okay, so here we are. It is a pay per lead arrangement. So you are billed for live phone calls and sometimes live text messages. It is a Google guaranteed program. You would need to pass a background check and have a certificate of insurance. What we have found, these hoops that you have to jump through, are part of the reason it's actually lower competition than regular Google ads that David ran back in 2018, right? Because what David ran in 2018, there could be a company in Seattle, in Washington, D.C., in Florida, in Iran, and they can run ads in Houston, in Washington State, in San Francisco. The ads are open to anyone, anywhere, the old school Google ads pay per click, right? The Google guaranteed pay per lead program is not like that, right? You are only competing, if you are in Houston, you are only competing against other foundation repair companies in Houston, right? So you can see how the advantage of having 5 competitors versus an unlimited number of competitors can bring in so much of a lower cost per lead. So that's what we're finding. We're like a kid in a candy store with local service ads. The quantity of leads that we're able to get, the cost per lead, the conversion of them into jobs, it's just going incredible for us. This is very strong on mobile. It is actually the first thing that you'll see on a mobile search. And we had a point number 4 and it was just like terrible. So we went straight to 5 here. We have looks more than brains. We're a very good looking foundation repair company. Kidding. So LSA ads are extremely high intent. Here's why that is. They just Googled foundation repair near me, right? So they've already talked to their wife and they've said, we've got this problem. Let's find somebody. This is not at all like Facebook ads where somebody's on the toilet or they're just looking at friends and family's pictures and then they see an ad and can submit a form. A lot of times you can't even get a hold of that person again, right? Like, did I fill out a form? It is a low quality lead on Facebook. Home Advisor is shared leads. So you might go out to the house and there's 6 other people giving that person estimates. Local service ads is you're the only one that gets that lead. And especially if you can pick the phone up right away, if you can respond to the text right away, you can have almost zero competition, at least for that lead that you got. So we're loving local service ads for these reasons. All right, so some of the things that Google is actually looking at to decide who gets the lead, right? Because it is not a straight bidding system, okay? One of the things they want is a good quantity of reviews, a high star rating, but there's also something called review velocity. So we've noticed, like, if you have not got a review in the last 6 months, that is one factor. You won't be quite as powerful on local service ads as somebody that got recent reviews. They love a good response time. And so that's referring to the text messages that come in. Ashley, if you remind me, I'll show them an actual ads report for CE foundation repair. And so one of the things that makes you get more leads in September than you got in August is going to be, oops.
Yeah, that's one.
Okay. Okay, is going to be response time. So we now actually have software that we use so that when you get a text message lead, they're getting their first response within 30 seconds. And this is just driving insane Google scores so that, because Google wants these people taken care of. They don't need the maximum dollar per lead. What they need is for the homeowners to fall in love with local service ads because they would rather take $100 from you for a lead than $200 from somebody that is never going to get the job done, right? Because what they're thinking about is I want to make $100 now, and then when they need a roof next month, I want to make another $100. So we want them to be bought into the local service ads arrangement. So response time is a huge deal. Answer rate is an even more obvious issue, right? We have found the average phone answer rate for local service ads is about 80%, right? So if you're running ads, if I'm talking to 100 people, their average answer rate is about 80%. So if you're able to get that phone answer rate up closer to 97%, what happens is not only are you obviously getting more leads because you're answering the phone, right? That's obvious. But Google says, number one, I'm going to make money off of this guy this month because he just picked up the phone and this is a pay per lead arrangement. So a missed call, they make $0 on. So they actually make more money on a person who has a good answer rate. The second thing they're thinking about is if you don't answer the phone, then they're not bought into local service ads, so they're not coming back next month. So phone answer rate is a big deal. Just for the sake of time, we're going to move on from here. But another thing is going into the CRM that they have and being active. So a lot of guys, maybe they'll use House Call Pro, Marquee, Jobber, Go High Level. And because of that, they think they can ignore the local service ads dashboard. And that's just not the case. So if you simply will rate the leads and say, hey, I booked this job. I actually did this for the homeowner. Or, hey, this was a poor quality lead. This was a great lead. What happens is you are showing Google that you've taken care of the customer and that you've interacted with the CRM. You will start getting more leads the following month. Okay, a couple of mistakes that we see. Having no system for reviews, right? So if you don't already have it, one simple way to solve this problem is the software that we use for our AI phone answer system also has review software, meaning you've sent the proposal to the client. Not only does it follow up, 24 hours, 72 hours later, say, hey, did you get a chance to look at the proposal? What do you think? We're going to be in your area, in a week. Do you want to do this? And it gently reminds them to sign the proposal. But once you move that customer to booked job, right, like it's completed, we now say like, hey, how was the service? Do you mind giving us a review? And then we do that 48 hours later and then another 48 hours later. So basically 3 times we ask for the review, and that just does an incredible job at getting reviews. That first client that I mentioned from about 11 months ago, they now have over 200 reviews, right? So it's just an incredible software to get reviews. Okay, it actually works in your favor to dispute some of the leads that maybe they mention it's the wrong number or you don't do that service. What happens is when you dispute a lead, or you rate the lead as, hey, this lead was 1-star quality, right? Let's say they call in for a concrete patio, right? It's a very low percentage. You don't want to just dispute the lead. You want to rank it as a 1-star lead so that you tell Google, hey, when they type this in, that's actually not what we're looking for. We don't do that at all, right? And so what happens is that teaches Google that that particular lead is not for us.
I also wanted to say something about the prior one.
Yeah.
So what happens when businesses don't dispute leads is that you keep wasting money on these leads that are not getting you anything. So if you don't review what you get, you don't rate what you get, is the highest chance is that Google is not gonna give you that money back just because it's there. There are some cases that we can tell Google, like for as an example, like for messages, most messages leads are bad because most people forget that they message the business. For Google, they love that you forget to check your leads. They love that because you don't get the chance to say, hey, this person didn't reply back like anytime. If you check your leads, if you follow up, you have a better chance to say, hey, Google, I reached out to this customer and he didn't reply back. It's not like a real good lead, and Google gets your money back for those ones. So it's also like good for your pocket to
Yeah.
check leads.
Yeah. So not only you get your money back, but you're training it of
Mm-hmm.
what leads we do not want. Okay, so we want to rate the leads, and we've just found that, this is part of a system that makes the leads climb every month. You need to have a good call answer rate. Any call answer rate above 80% starts pushing you to get more leads the following month. And we have seen a call answer rate below 80% drive the leads down to nearly zero, right? So it's not even just the missed call, it's the worst ad ranking. So you'll start being the number 8, the number 11 ad, and they do not get any leads. You got to be one of the top 2, right? So we use an AI phone service, and we've actually got a case study where we show a turnaround just a little bit later. All right, we need to move on, but the point is, so yeah, these AI phone systems are amazing, by the way. It's 90% the quality of a real human being for roughly 5% the cost, right? And actually, that's if you buy it yourself. It's actually included in our services. So yeah, they're just amazing. And the whole point of them for us, the reason we got into them was for that ad score. All right, so we're messaging text. We're answering text messages in 30 seconds or less now with this AI agent. We're capturing the details. We can even get you, we now set up 2 agents, one for after hours, and they pick up right away, and one for during hours, and they pick up on about a 10 to 15 second delay. And I don't know why, but Ashley, you gave the last one 2 different personalities. Is that right? Like one
Uh,
was Maria.
yeah, I mean like different hours of the time of the day and need different like type of person picking up. So for the one that, for example, it takes the after hours shift, it's not saying, hey, I can transfer you to the office right now. It says like we'll reach out when the office is open again. So
Right.
we need like 2 different like people, you know,
Yeah.
for this 2 different shifts. That's why.
Okay, great point. Okay, so not that it's two personalities, but it's two different objectives or mind frames with the AI agent. All right, case study number one. This is a client who was not answering their phone, and this was before we were doing AI phone agents for everybody. His lead count had got down to 6 because he was it like 40% was his phone answer rate?
Yeah, it dropped it till 40% or
Yeah,
less, I think.
and then he would call us complaining about the lead flow
Yeah.
and then it actually took us a while to diagnose this problem, but we realized what it was. We set up an AI answering service, and this is a 2 month difference. So in other words, May was like the recovery month, right? April sucked. May was like showing Google that we can pick up the phone 100% of the time. And next thing you know, in June, we're getting 20 leads. In July, we're getting 23. And that is likely to keep climbing. And you'll see that with the one where we have more data set. So there's the numbers there. Okay, case study number two. This is so I don't like saying anyone's name. So I call them CE Foundation Repair in Houston. It's actually short for something, but this is them. 10 months at a glance, we got them 333 leads, 47,000 in ad spend. It was roughly 5 million in revenue. Monthly leads. Okay, so here's the numbers. November, this was the month they made $300,000 in booked jobs. They are now, I forget if he said 425 or 475. So somewhere around like the 450 per month mark. And you can see how the leads have gone up and up every month. May, we actually stopped ads on the 25th, so this might have even been a little higher. Ashley, did you have something to add? Oh, I thought I saw your
Yeah.
hand.
No, yeah, I actually these numbers from July are till yesterday, so they might even get higher for
Okay,
July.
right. So yeah, like let's say we can hit mathematically, we should be on pace for about 42. So basically, just the lead flow climbs every single month when you're running Google Ads properly, right? Whereas Eddie mentioned his experience, David mentioned their experience. Like, why do things go down, right? So pay-per-click is a different set of algorithms than local service ads. But if you're not hacking that algorithm so that it's sending positive signals, then it is negative signals and things go down over time, right? So it's just a matter of having expertise. It's like a big cruise ship, right? You've got a captain with experience, and that's what we have. We have the experience to make sure your ads go up, not down. But also, we just wanted to teach you some of the things that were behind that, right? We didn't mean to toot our own horn. We also want to educate. Okay, here are the numbers. Cost per lead uh, typically remains steady, anywhere from 133 to 153 per lead. And you'll see here, starting in November, it's not that we were getting like a lot more impressions. In fact, January and February, we had a lot of impressions, but we were getting more leads here. So basically, the ads just are simply more effective, and Google's wanting to rank us higher, right? The 1, 2, and 3 position ads for the same amount of impressions are just more likely to turn into a lead. And here you can see the numbers by the quarter. Ashley did the math on how many leads did we get for every 1,000 impressions, and that's something that trends up as well. So now they're getting 95% more leads than the day they started, as opposed to so many stories we've heard of ads suddenly stopping working or on the decline. Okay, so that's all that we have regarding ads. I think we want to save SEO for another time. Eddie, David, do you guys have any questions for us? It can be about ads or it can be about anything else. Okay, no pressure. And one cool thing that we are offering, so a couple things that you can get from us for attending the webinar. I can do one of those local service ads audits for you. It's basically like a Rand McNally map of your area, and we just draw out a 10 by 10 pins, so 100 pins total, and I'll do 100 Google searches for as many keywords as you tell me. Crawl space encapsulation, basement waterproofing, foundation repair. So just in email or messenger, just tell me, hey, give me one of those SEO reports.
Eddie just dropped a question on the chat.
Okay. Read it to me.
So earlier he sent his website when you asked, and now he says, when do you know it's time to grow your team safely?
Okay, great question. So we're actually planning a webinar on the 7 stages of the foundation repair company, where we start the journey from a sole proprietor that answers his own phone to a guy that gets a helper in the truck, all the way up to a $10 million company. But usually what tends to happen is you want to have some low dollar leads coming in first. So Ashley tends to bid the leads a little on the conservative side in the beginning. In other words, we're saying like, hey, Google, we don't mind being like the number 3, 4, 5 ad, as long as we get a total of like 20, 25 leads this month. Because sometimes we have just seen that's all that a business owner can like a smaller business owner can effectively handle, close, actually execute on. Otherwise, what happens is people are like, oh, we're doing amazing, but you need to pause the ads. And if we had paced ourselves better, we wouldn't have ever had to spend, 140 per lead, 200 per lead, So I think we start at 120, 130 per lead now. And just say like, here's slow and steady leads. And then it'll start to become obvious that you need help, so that you can answer more phone calls. But hopefully another webinar that we're planning, the 7 stages of the foundation repair company, because we've actually been blessed to have 2 companies grow to the point of selling. One of them for 1.8 million, one of them for 580,000. Those were clients of ours. So, and we used to work for a lot of guys in a home services coaching group. So we got to see a lot of stages of growth that we were the ads guy and the SEO guy for.
I have a freedom I can speak now. He might be quiet for a minute.
Okay.
Maybe I mislabeled my question there. Kind of, I think you're starting to hit on it towards the end. So me personally, my mentality, and this industry, we go through employees left and right, hoping to find the right one. It just burns them up. My spectrum with everything just now starting to get the right direction within 4 years, I'm afraid of growing too fast. I'm not generating enough where I can look, I'd like to have 2 to 3 more guys, get them trained up properly, but at the same time too, I'm afraid I couldn't look them in the eye and say, yes, you can 100% take care of your family here.
Yeah.
So it's like how, figuring out where exactly you need to be where you can make that leap. I'm finding like in the last few years, more people are trying this locally on a smaller level. And, I'm losing stuff because I'm pushed out too far.
Right. Okay. So I know the goals that I have for my company. I'm in a coaching group, right? So I highly recommend joining a group that you trust. And my goals are 10% growth every 4 years for my company, right? And we're hiring right now someone to communicate with clients. Um, so, but what needs to happen first is you need to have that revenue growth, and before the roles open up. So you'll start to find the holes, like when you get too many phone calls, you'll hit a choke point. And the choke point will either be I'm working till 8 p.m., I'm answering the phone all the time, and then you realize what I need is an employee with me, right? And then the next thing you might end up needing is an admin. And then you get a second truck on the road, and maybe your helper becomes a foreman, or you have to do an outside hire and get a foreman in. But really, what has to come first, Alex Hormozy, I don't know if you guys follow him or not, but he's been involved in growing a lot of businesses. The leads and the revenue have to come first. And so you solve the problem that you're facing right now, right? So if you're facing the problem where you're booked out for 5 weeks, and so you're talking to people and they're saying, oh, I don't want to wait that long, right? Maybe you really only face that problem at about 2 months. Then your problem is I need more output, right? And so at that point, okay, I need help. I need a second truck. I need a foreman to run the jobs. So you find what your choke point is at that particular time and solve that problem, right? As a marketing guy, I'd like to think more leads is always the problem, right? But that's not always the case. However, with marketing and lead flow, you do want to start forecasting about 6 months ahead of time, right? Especially as far as SEO goes. Because you saw the charts that I showed you, we did amazing work. We're one of the best SEO companies in the United States in any niche, not just in foundation repair. I've had an SEO course in the past. I've had a Google Ads course. I've been doing this for a long time. However, those results I showed you was like 3 months and 9 months. So you have to forecast ahead of time, like, hey, I'm going to need more leads in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So as far as the leads and the revenue, you have to forecast ahead of time. That being said, there is ads which kicks in right away, like we mentioned with CE Foundation Repair. And if you already have a Google listing and a website, then you don't have to have that 2-month delay where I'm getting a Google listing live, right? Okay, Eddie said my website is absolute trash. So your home. So I see like restore, remodel your home. So one thing I'll tell you is that this is not, I'm betting money. That's your header here. Eddie, is it okay if I share your website on this webinar? Just so you know, it's going to be recorded and sent out. Do I have permission to share your website?
As long as y'all don't laugh at it too hard. It was kind of one of the little pay and figure it out your own setups, and you see I failed miserably figuring out my own.
I'm going to roast the
Not
website.
for sure.
Yeah, I am going to roast the website, so I decline to.
Have at it.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing I want to do, I don't care what it looks like. I absolutely do not care, right? What I really care about is how good the SEO is. So I need to do an SEO report on it. So let me pull up that sheet real quick. Can't give away like client info. So let me check existing headers here, SEO title and description here. Then I'll plug your website, and then I'll do a screen share again, and I'll just share the results with everyone. and I have a really good video editor. So all this boring time hopefully will get cut out. Unless by talking about it, I just made it interesting and it's going to keep it in there. All right, let's go back to screen share. All right, so what I care about is number one, what the actual result is, right? Meaning like how many green dots do I have for each of the keywords you're targeting? And one of the first things that you need to worry about is your on-page SEO. Okay, so the most important bit of on-page information is the SEO page title, and yours does not have a single keyword in there. So that is bad news. Your SEO page title says PRRR Home Solutions, and I would rather it say something like PRRR Foundation Repair and Waterproofing. Now, the meta description or the SEO description, this does not matter for your SEO rankings at all. This is simply what shows up in the search engine results page to entice somebody to come into your website, right? So instead of something like this, I want something that will get a good click-through rate. And I don't know whether any of you have ever measured what's my click-through rate on Google, but you can change it to something like, let's see, 100% satisfaction guarantee. This is just off the cuff. We request a free quote online in 30 seconds or less. So with something like this, it's just a little bit more likely to stand out versus the other 10 websites that are going to show on that page. And then you might find just from changing these two things, number one, whatever traffic you would have got, this can increase it because the click-through rate determines how much traffic comes your way, right? And then the page title is what tells Google what the page is about, right? So the next thing is, I'm betting this is your most important header. Yes, it is. So I do see the word foundation. I'd like to see the word repair in there. So you could simply say, with our foundation repair professionals, because that's what people type in. Oh, I do see the word repair here. I love the picture here, but it's
That's the only one it would let me change.
okay. I
And kind of like when you see the header prevent repair restore model, everybody's like, what the heck is your name?
right, yeah.
But, we got slogans and everything, and my
if
goofy
I'm
brain actually kind of worked in the long run.
Yeah.
But the
That's-
if
website
I
word.
oh, sorry.
You're fine, sorry.
If I may say something, you could use that as a slogan. Like you can get a title and put that like in like smaller caps,
Yeah.
like a foundation repair professionals. I don't know, and you can say like under it, like in smaller letters, you can say protect, repair, restore, remodel.
Yeah, our little catchphrases we help make.
Yeah, because it's a good one, but you need like the right keywords in there.
Figure a
Yeah.
weird name and a punch phrase that goes with it helps you kind of stand out a little bit somehow.
Yeah. So that's the, let's see, based on waterproofing. Okay, so let me check out.
The good looking guy.
What's that?
They just scrolled past the good looking guy.
The the good looking, was that, do you mean me?
No, me. Come on now.
Oh,
Oh, well, I showed the best part of my profile, the lower part.
you do have you are 8 years younger than me, so you have the advantage. Um, okay, so I see pictures of like a city skyline.
That's stuff that was uploaded and it will not let me change it to save my life. So I'm just
Okay.
like, I don't think I've touched that page in, well, probably about a week after it was created. I got frustrated and gave up with it.
Okay, so I'll tell you what our process is. Number one, we fill out a form together. Where we talk about like not only what you offer, what's the most important, like tell me about the area you serve. Tell me about your ideal customer, not just the ones you get. Your what makes you better than your competitors, the story of why you got started, what you care about, like questions customers always ask you. So we do like an interview together, and then we make a website with the help of AI that is just frankly amazing. And we do that for $297. And we do that, and we don't take the payment until we like deliver the website. The reason we're trying to do that is we want people to see like what it's like to work with us, right? Like what would the
Understood.
process look like? So we kind of wanted to make an offer that's really easy for someone. I hate to give away my sales tactics, but to get my foot in the door, right? But basically, at the end of that process, you have the most beautiful website you could have possibly imagined.
And
Uh,
now, just having a pre-existing domain, is that able to be kept?
yeah,
Not often chosen. That's,
highly recommend that you do not change the
I got
domain.
a lot of business cards and door cars. Got a lot of money tied up into that to have to change it and throw it out.
Yeah, no, 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 no. That's one of the worst SEO moves that you can make is to change a domain, right? If that domain's 5, 10 years old and you start with a brand new domain, it's like a brand new website. So we do it on your domain. We just make it better SEO, make it a little prettier. I don't usually care about pretty, but they are coming out amazing. And we want something that will convert at a high rate, right? So that's the important thing to me, how much money that website's going to make.
Now, when you guys create that website, it doesn't like hop on your Facebook and post random things for you and goofy stuff like that, or
You mean like social media management?
yeah, because see, I had a nice website I've paid for in the past, and they wouldn't listen to me, and they kept blasting the goofiest pictures and things, kind of like what I got going on now. But it would have a guy with a cocking gun, sealing up a crack, like, hey, why is it so important to do basement waterproofing? I'm like, that's not remotely what we do. That looks terrible. So it was just
I
frustrating. So that's how I ended up with this garbage account or page that I had.
Usually a website won't do that. Maybe they were like an SEO company and they were doing social media. Like usually a website is not doing that. I'll
Yeah,
bet
it was
money
the
that was.
company managing the website, and I kept asking them, hey, quit doing that on my social media, or at least let's do prior approval. I don't mind paying for that to be done, but just don't
Yeah, right, right.
look so unprofessional.
Yeah, no, that's not how we the website doesn't do anything like that, and if it doesn't work for SEO, we don't do it at all. So no, that's nothing like what we do.
Understood. Yeah, if you got a minute, we'll chat about building a good website for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just drop me a Facebook message and we'll do that.
Cool.
Okay. David, do you have any questions? Or Eddie, well, let me open it up to David first. Do you have any questions, David?
I do have one question about the AI, the answering for the phone.
Yeah.
Does that what do? They just respond with a short message, or can they actually schedule an appointment through the AI itself?
Um, we don't like it too much to book appointments. We like to leave that to the team in the office. But the AI is like having a conversation with them and requesting the name, the email, phone number that's best to reach them out. And then the team, like the real people, is gonna have to do a follow-up call to schedule to like the AI is more of a backup, so you don't lose like anyone trying to contact your business. It's not like to replace real people, but to get the best of the leads you're getting, so you don't like fall off the tracks, you know?
Yes, ma'am. That
That's
was the
our
only question.
recommendation. Yeah.
Yeah, does that answer the question, David?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so when we experienced that client with the 40% call rate, um, we just ended up seeing like no reason not to do it for everyone going forward. Because here's the thing. Let's say that I set it up for you, David, and you answer your phone 100% of the time. The AI will never be used, and that's fine with us. But what we have found is that nobody's answering the phone 100% of the time.
Right. And not only that, I get multiple phone calls at once. I can't answer every phone call.
Boom.
So I need a system like that.
Yeah, yeah. So this covers you. It covers you if get a lead at 11 p.m. and you have your ringer off. And if it's spam, you never even hear about it. So yeah, it's a really good system. And what well, we don't really have bosses in our company, but I guess what Ashley's boss said about it is that it is eerie, like how good it is. Like we know that it's AI, and it's eerily good. It's very, very good system because it's not
That's good.
ours. Yeah, like we're using software that's kind of like replacing ClickFunnels. So it's they have an amazing AI system, and we just set it up for people. Okay, so great questions, guys. Back to you, Eddie. Do you have any more questions?
Touching on the AI, so you said it basically has a timer, like 10, 15 seconds. It'll assume you didn't answer the phone or could not and take over.
Yeah.
So it pretty much kind of acts like a voicemail per se.
No, as a police, but yeah, as a hey, I got your back. Like, oh, you were on the bathroom, maybe. So I take it. It's okay. So you can take a look after to the information of the call, and you can just go over it and do the call yourself.
Understood.
Actually, he said, does it act like a voicemail? He didn't say, does it
Oh,
act like police?
I heard police.
In
I see.
Venezuela, they're very scared of the police.
Yeah, we are. Sorry. No, it's not like a voicemail. Because for a fact, LSA and Google hates voicemails. Like an LSA account with a voicemail is just going down the drain. Like Google likes for someone to be available to talk with the customer when they call.
So
So
how to do, I'm sure David probably runs into the same effect with phone calls. You get those customers that are just like, hey, this is the size of my house. This is what I'm told I need. How much do you guys charge? Does
yeah,
it,
for
how does it
for those cases. Oh, sorry. Finish. Sorry.
like just how does it navigate when a customer has that direct mindset as opposed to, you know, they're immediately like, hey, I don't want you in here for a quote. I know what I need. What's my price? Sort of deal.
Yeah. For those cases, for people looking for a quote, we set the AI not to give any pricing over the phone unless you wanted to. So, AI is gonna say something like, actually, we need to like do a visit to the site to determine how much it's gonna cost, like for the job to be done. Or maybe say something like, the scheduling team, the pricing team is gonna give you a quote. I'm just getting your info so they can process it and give you the best quote for your
Right.
case.
And Ashley,
Um,
if he's getting a lot of that in his market, are we able to train the AI
To
to
give
say
pricing?
to say
Yeah.
something like, hey, Eddie's the boss. He knows so much more about this than me. Is it
Uh-huh.
okay if he calls you and gives you the
Yeah.
guesstimate over the phone?
Mm-hmm. We can do it.
So, so the AI is trainable for each individual company.
Yeah, that's the best part actually. Like if we start with a prompt, it can be modified. So if we start with something, um, and on the road, you notice and that you don't like it, maybe for the AI to be saying these kind of things, we can like modify it. We can change it to match what you want it to say. So it matches like your way of handling things over the phone.
Understood. So then a follow up to that is if you're a poor staff like me, that cell phone puts in multi duty. How does it differentiate like a customer, potential customer lead call versus, maybe some knucklehead trying to tell you your name don't pop up when you ask Alexa?
So he's asking Ashley, what about spam callers? Like,
Yeah,
so first of all, are we setting it up for the main Google listing phone number or just for the local service ads?
we're doing that for one client that uses the same phone number for all ad sources. We don't usually recommend that. We recommend like to part it like for PPC, for LSA, and for SEO, like what's on your website, what's on your landing pages. But for LSA, we have to use a phone number. We usually do um, like a partnering system with Corel. We use Go High Level. So this is like for tracking purposes. So the AI can redirect to your phone number instead of taking the calls instead of you all the time. So we can have a tracking phone number for LSA, and it's going to take the calls for LSA, not all your phone calls.
The day you say, hey, I have time to invest in the business, we can just hit a button and then like the 3 week setup has been done. Or you can say, I want like maybe just a few leads and it's almost like a radio volume. You just turn it down a little. And the cool thing about having an ad campaign that you have turned down, it's lower cost per lead, right? So that's basically how you scale ads. You're like, hey, I need every ad on the planet. So I'm like, okay, I'll turn it up. And that means I'm bidding like aggressively. Every single lead, I'm trying to outbid the competitor. I want 40 leads, I'm willing to pay 160 a lead. I only need 15 leads. Let me try to get them for like 130 a lead. And so that's how ad scaling works. So I recommend everybody have ads and just have it down. Like, let's just get some cheap leads because that is how that works. All right. And if anybody is still around, like watching this recording after the fact, thank you so much for watching our webinar. I'm Jason, founder of Foundation Repair Marketing. And I'm
Oh,
Ashley.
and I'm Ashley. I'm the
The-
ads manager at
She's
Foundation
the
Repair
ads manager.
Marketing.
And
Yeah.
that's it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Eddie and David, for coming, and we'll talk to you guys later.